Meeting Stormy, our gentle sky blue boy. There are some birds who burst into your life with confidence and chaos, and then there are birds like Stormy. Stormy, our beautiful sky blue opaline grey-wing Australian budgie, came to us carrying far more than just feathers and tiny chirps. He arrived with a story already written into the way he moved, the way he watched the world, and the quiet caution behind his eyes. When we first met Stormy, the breeder told us he was only around 3 months old. But bird people know. Sometimes the feathers tell their own story. His cere, the soft little nostril area above his beak, suggested something different entirely. While we can never know for certain, we estimated our sweet boy was likely closer to 6 months old when he joined our flock. And honestly, age mattered far less than what Stormy needed most. He needed safety, he needed patience, and he needed a chance. One of the first things we noticed about Stormy was the condition of his tail feathers. They were heartbreaking. Some were bent and heavily frayed. Others were completely broken, leaving gaps where elegant tail feathers should have been. For anyone unfamiliar with budgies, tail feathers are incredibly important, not just for appearance, but for flight control and balance too. Damage like Stormy had can happen for several reasons, but often it points toward poor living conditions, cramped housing, overcrowding, or limited opportunity to move and fly naturally. And while we can never know exactly what Stormy's early life looked like, his feathers spoke quietly of challenges before he came home. Nutrition may have played a role too. Healthy feathers require healthy bodies. Budgies thrive on variety, fresh vegetables, grains, quality seed, and balanced nutrition that supports everything from immunity to feather growth and overall well-being. Stormy's little body had work to do, and so did his heart. When he first arrived, Stormy was incredibly flighty. Not mischievous, not naughty, just scared. Every movement seemed to startle him. Hands were suspicious. New spaces felt uncertain. Even simple interactions came with hesitation. And honestly, that made complete sense. For prey animals like budgies, trust is never automatic. It is earned, slowly, gently, and entirely on their terms. So that became our mission with Stormy, not to force confidence, but to build it. We gave him time, we gave him consistency, and most importantly, we gave him freedom. Freedom to fly, freedom to observe, freedom to learn that this new home belonged to him too. Stormy discovered that cages could be places of comfort rather than confinement. That hands didn't always mean fear. That the world beyond the bars was filled with soft landings, favorite perches, familiar voices, and safety. Progress did not happen overnight. With birds, it rarely does. Trust is measured in tiny victories. A closer landing, a longer pause nearby, a softer gaze, a nervous bird choosing curiosity over fear. And little by little, Stormy began to change. His flying improved dramatically as his confidence grew and his body strengthened. Damaged feathers slowly made way for healthier ones. He explored more, watched more, and true to his personality, he still preferred to watch first. Because if Stormy has a defining trait, it is this: he is absolutely a watch from the sidelines kind of boy. He isn't usually the first to dive headfirst into chaos. That title belongs elsewhere in our flock. Stormy likes information. He likes observation. He studies situations carefully before joining in, quietly collecting data like a tiny feathered detective. And honestly, we adore that about him. Every flock needs different personalities. The bold ones, the curious ones, the cheeky troublemakers, and then the gentle souls who bring balance to the noise. Stormy became exactly that. But perhaps the most beautiful chapter of Stormy's story began almost immediately after he joined us. Because not long after arriving, he met Sunni. And from the very beginning, something clicked. Some bird bonds develop slowly. Others happen with surprising speed. Stormy and Sunni seemed to understand one another almost instantly. Where Sunni brought energy and fearless enthusiasm, Stormy brought calm. Where she explored boldly, he followed thoughtfully. And before long, they became nearly inseparable. If you know Stormy now, you know this already. That little boy is completely, hopelessly, head over heels in love. And he makes absolutely no effort to hide it. Stormy adores Sunni. His eyes tell the story before anything else does. Budgie owners will know exactly what I mean when I say eye pinning. That rapid dilation and constriction of the pupils, a fascinating behavior often linked with excitement, emotional intensity, focus, or strong interest. And around Sunni, Stormy's eyes speak volumes. He watches her with complete devotion. He follows her, chats to her, checks where she is, and rarely chooses to be anywhere she isn't. Their bond is one of the sweetest things to witness. Not because it is dramatic, but because it is constant. Quiet loyalty, tiny conversations, shared flights, mutual comfort. And speaking of conversations, Stormy has so much to say. He may be our quieter personality in some ways, but vocally? Stormy is a storyteller. He talks constantly, little chirps, soft commentary, excited discussions, endless Budgie updates that, if we could translate them, would probably reveal all the gossip and adventures he and Sunni have shared throughout the day. He narrates life with remarkable dedication. And honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. There is something deeply comforting about hearing Stormy chatter away nearby, filling the house with his gentle little voice. It reminds us how far he has come. Because sometimes transformation doesn't look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like a bird who once lived cautiously now singing freely. A bird who once carried fear now choosing connection. A bird who once arrived with broken feathers and uncertainty now confidently belonging. Stormy's journey reminds us of something important about birds, and maybe about life too. Healing rarely happens all at once. Growth is often quiet, confidence is built, not born. And kindness matters more than speed. Stormy did not need perfection. He needed patience. He needed understanding. He needed the freedom to become himself. And who he became is honestly something beautiful. Today, Stormy remains exactly who he has always been at heart. Gentle, calm, submissive, thoughtful, a soft soul among our feathered family. His nature complements every personality around him, creating balance within our flock in a way that feels almost effortless. And while he may never be the loudest adventurer or the boldest daredevil, he doesn't need to be. Stormy's magic has never lived in chaos. It lives in gentleness, in loyalty, in the steady comfort of his presence. Meeting Stormy was never simply about adding another bird to our home. It was about welcoming a little soul who needed a second chapter. And watching that chapter unfold has been one of the greatest privileges. So this is Stormy, our sky blue boy, our quiet observer, Sunni's devoted shadow, the storyteller of the flock, and proof that sometimes the gentlest hearts leave the deepest footprints. We're so grateful you found your way home, little man.